Alright, so like I said in the description, I'm going over, well, not going over, I'm going to be putting in a speaker system in my side-by-side for less than 150 bucks. It's actually about 140, and that's going to vary on, obviously, shipping and state-wise with tax. First thing I ordered was this pyle amp. It is a marine grade, which you can see. This one, you can actually hook up 4 speakers to it. I only got 2 for now. I want to see how that goes. If that goes good, if this still holds up pretty well and still has enough power, I will get 2 more speakers. Probably door speakers, which I will update, and then obviously a video will follow. I don't remember how many amps this is, or what power this puts out, but I know it's enough to power these 2 speakers I did get, and probably a future 2 more. So, and again, what you get with this pyle amp, though, is this cord here. That is just for your auxiliary from your phone to that. That will just plug in over there. It's going to be very easy. Obviously, the wires, you're going to need to wire the speakers up. They did not obviously give me enough wire, so I had to, which I did assume that, so I bought more wire. I think the wire I bought might be a little thicker than what is required, but it's not a super big deal. You get this is just a volume control. It just plugs into here. No big deal. And then this thing. This is to put either, you know, your iPod or your phone in. It's a waterproof case. This little piece goes in there, it's sealed, and it seals up top. I won't use this. My phone won't fit in it. I want to use it anyway, but it's nice I give it to you, and then you just get an extra auxiliary cord. That amp was $43 on Amazon. Again, I have Prime, so I get free shipping, and again, it's going to vary with, if you don't have that, shipping and also tax purposes. So, but still, 47 bucks. It's not bad for that, for being Marine. The next thing I got, because I assumed they wouldn't give me, was a speaker wire. I think this is a little thicker than what I do need. But it's still at work, and I'm not going to complain or send it back. This speaker wire was $13. It was 12 something, but I'm going to say 13. And you get, this is 50 feet of it, so I'll have plenty. This will give me enough for today's project and future projects. So that's great. So 12 bucks. I'll have this for a while, because I won't need that. I'm only going to need at the most like 15-20 feet of that, so I'll still have more than half left over. The next thing is obviously the speakers. This is the 8-inch speakers. I mean, my hands aren't tiny, but they're not gigantic either. But that's an 8-inch speaker. You get a pair of them for it. The speakers themselves, that's gotta be the expensive part. These are MCM speakers. These, again, Marine speakers. They were $84. Yeah, $84 for 2 sets. The other set I just didn't take out yet. I kind of wanted to open everything up and just to kind of a quick review of them. The only thing I'm going to say, though, is it's kind of a cheaper plastic. I did hear reviews on Amazon about all of this stuff before I did buy. These are not high-quality bass speakers. So if you're looking for a lot of bass, these are not it. I wouldn't get these. Again, but that's going to raise the price of the installation for you. But they're a good quality speaker from what I'm hearing. I heard a lot of people saying it is a cheap metal, which it doesn't feel too cheap. I mean, it is. I mean, it's not going to... I mean, a rock comes up flying. It shouldn't harm it. I did hear a lot of people complain about the clamps, though. If you over-tighten them, they will crack. But in my point of view, if you have a plastic clamp, if you over-tighten it, it's going to break anyways. No different than a metal. If you have a metal clamp, you over-tighten it, it's going to wind up bending. It may not break, but it'll bend. So just watch if you do this. Not to over-tighten them too tight. I mean, obviously you want it tight, but you tighten it too tight and it's going to wind up cracking this, which I don't think I'll have a problem with. But that's the setup I have right now. My next step is I'll go out to the garage. I'm going to show you the next step. I had to tear mine down more than most people because I'm running to a fuse box for the wires for the power of the amp. The amp, from what I read and what I saw, it will run constant power. It will not just shut off. So either if you're not concerned about that, don't worry about it. But if you are, either there's switches on Amazon you can get for, not that, I don't know how much they are. They're not expensive. I want to say under 20. Or if you have the dual battery set up, and you'll be alright. Or if you have, like what I do, I have the Seafoam or seafoam, whatever it's called, the breaker, the marine breaker fuse box for it. I'm running it to the fuse box just because I'd rather do that. Worst case scenario, if I still feel it's pulling too much power in between rides, I can just pull a fuse and from the fuse box, it will stop pulling power. So that's an easy solution for me. Instead of me spending another $20. But again, for $140, this is great. Because if you go online and compare, you can get, I'm not sure if it's the same, if it's MCM or who it's by, but they make, you can get everything you need. It'll be 4 speakers, an amp, and everything you need for, it's like $200-300. But if you go this route, if you buy another set of these, so it'll be 4 total, it'll only be $220 for four speaker system and everything you need, which I still think is pretty cheap and pretty nice. So again, I'm gonna pause this video, go out there, show you what my next step is, figure out where I'm gonna mount the amp, and I also gotta figure out where I'm gonna mount this thing. I mean, luckily you can see there, it's just a plug-in, so if I need to move it, I can. Other than that, I don't know where I'm gonna mount this. This is just a volume control. That goes onto that. You can obviously have that full cranked and then still control it from your phone. So we'll see what I do. But that's where we're at for right now. My next step is, like I said, I'll be out in the garage. I'll take everything apart, replay the video where I'm at, and kind of figure out where I'm going to put everything. And then from there, it's just a matter of putting everything, quick wiring it up, setting it up. Oh, while I'm going to touch on that, I bought these banana plugs. I didn't know if I was going to need them. These are $7. This is not including the price. They're $7. You don't need them, so obviously don't waste your money. They didn't really have this in the description I saw on Amazon, so all you gotta want to do. Sorry about that. Press down. The speaker wire will go in. Press it all the way down. Speaker wire go in. You lift up, and it'll create the contact and be up all the time. And they are wired black and red, which you will need to know that for the amp. But again, I think from what I'm seeing, everything seems pretty good. I think we're all right. So pause it here, and then we'll pick up. Alright, so after you open up your box, inspected all your stuff that you got in, the first step you're going to want to do, obviously, is prepare the machine. First step I did, I removed the seats, got them out of my way. Next couple of steps, it's going to depend on if you're going to do this or not. I'm going to run everything to my fuse box up front. So I'm going to just pick wherever I want to run it. It's probably just going to be here, these 2 areas. Run the wire straight down, and I'm going to run them back to the amp then. If you don't have that option, if you don't want to do that option or have a fuse box, that's fine. You can run everything straight to a battery, which I'm going to hook my amp either on this part, which is right behind here is the intake, or I'm going to hook it right here. Which that part there is if these pieces here is what removes to get back towards your belts and all. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put it there or up here. I'm kind of leaning up here, just because down here, like, you have to take that off quite a bit. You know, when you change oil, your dipstick's back there. If you're out, you know, running around with your side-by-side or anything you hook up to, you got to remove that if a belt breaks out in the woods. So I'm kind of thinking that might be more of a pain to keep taking on and off the amp. So I'm thinking here might be the best solution. Again, it is a marine amp, so I'm not worried about it getting wet. But I thought that was the best solution. I wish these kind of would have had something more up front here to hook it up where it might have been a little better spot, but there's really not. So, I thought about hooking it up there, but I just feel like a lot of wires would be in the way and I'd have to rerun. But anyway, getting back on subject. If you are going to run it up front to a fuse box or anywhere else, a big step is going to be removing your handle. So just get a flat head. You got to go underneath this, pop this up, and then there's going to be a bolt there. That is just a T27. If you're really new to side-by-sides, especially the 800s, the T27 is a big one. You're going to need that a lot. I mean, there's going to be a lot of, like, for instance, that bolt, that one right there is a T27. And I'm also going to have to remove this whole piece right here, so I can run wires down, because I have wires currently running down there to the fuse box to begin with. So I got to remove all that, and they're all going to be T27s down there. So your first step though is remove that one out. You got to just pull that straight up. It will not give you any trouble. It might be a little stuck, just give it a little force. But normally with mine, I just loosen it up and just pull it, barely pull it, and it'll come right off. And then I'll loosen all these bolts on this side, the other side, and remove this plastic piece. I'm going to pause the video again, so when I get to that point, after I have everything run, right when I hook the, where I'm going to put my amp at, I'll start recording again. But that's going to be your first couple steps. But again, you can run it just straight to the battery. But I want to remind everybody too, that amp is constantly going to be pulling power. You could run into I thought about running a button here to shut it off, but with the dual battery isolator, which if you've watched my videos previously, I have that. That's going to prevent my stock battery, not my stock, but my main battery from dying. So I'm not worried about that. I do put this on a charge when I'm not riding it. So, but if you don't have the dual isolator, I would recommend either getting it. Switches aren't expensive. They're $15 maybe on Amazon, depending on a brand. So that's gotta be up to you. But I would just be aware that's constantly gonna pull. So if you don't drive your side by side like all winter, and that you left that on without have like a drip charger on it will kill the battery. But just something to think about. All right. Alright, so I figured out, I did want to mount the amp there. It felt like the easiest solution. I have a Tusk bag that goes down here, and I would also recommend, if you guys don't have one of those bags that goes down there, they're great to have. It's came in handy so many times. They're not that expensive either. But I did put it there. I felt it was easier. I just put 4 screws in real quick. Only thing I do wish that these were flip-flopped, like that was on that side. But for what that just plugs into the audio cord area, which they did give me enough cord for that, so I'm not worried about it. The next thing I did right away too, I was tossing around the idea of where I wanted to put that speaker. Well, put both of them actually. It's just currently that one. I had my original thoughts were up there, and I still think I might order 2 more, depending on the sound quality, how they hold up in the woods, which I think they should. I didn't see anything bad about that, but I thought about up there, but I just wasn't convinced. So I kind of just mounted one there quickly, and it seemed to be all right. I mean, it's gonna be right. I mean, if you blare music, you're gonna be deaf till the end of the ride. But you know, that way you won't have to crank the music as loud, because obviously the seat will come up, and the headrest is pretty close to that. But the nice part with these razors, this is why I'm growing to love these razors. I really love my 800. I'm not sure if I ever give it up. Yeah, you can mount it on this bar, that bar. I mean, realistically, even in that bar, going across, that would be just a roof bar. I mean, there's so many places you can mount them. So, I'm happy there. So, I think, depending on how loud these are, the quality too, I don't know if I'm going to order 2 more for up there, or I had an idea of making door speakers. I had the bear claw doors on this. So I'm thinking I maybe even doing door speakers. They will be a much cheaper option than spending another, essentially $80, $90 on speakers. So that idea I'm gonna toss around. I'm gonna see how these do in the woods first. I'll update, do an update video of just how they do in the woods, and maybe I'll do a video of them in the woods to show you how they do work. But my other thought for you, I run into this problem, unfortunately. The little bolts, or little nuts, sorry, that go in there. Any other time I've had plastic, they normally sit in there and stay in there. You don't got to worry about them. You loosen these bolts up, they do fall out. Unfortunately, I lost 2. I'm kind of thinking they maybe not have sent me one, but I lost 2. I know I did hear one fall, down there somewhere, but God only knows where it's at. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go searching for it right now, because luckily I have bolts and nuts here and generally I just go to Harbor Freight and buy cheap sets, and that's luckily the set I bought had them in there. I do want to put a shout out that I'm not being sponsored by any of these people. This is by my own dime, just stuff I want to do, and this is to help everybody else out instead of spending. Because I know the roof speakers, I think they're $300 plus shipping and tax to do the actual roof ones that the Polaris makes. And I know you can buy a set, like I said earlier, you can buy a set of 4 of these for, I think it's $300 too, for like $280, $290, somewhere around there for all 4. But if you do it this way, it's going to be a little cheaper. So my next step, I'm going to mount that one, which all I did, which I believe it's a 5/32 Allen key. It's all I use for that. I just loosen them up. You have to take all the bolts off completely out. And that's why you're gonna lose the nuts if you don't watch. I don't even recommend gluing them. Give it a little bit of super glue or something, and then put them in there. That way, when you're trying to, I'm by myself right now. My partner in crime didn't show up, so it's a little more difficult trying to move that awkward speaker for right now. So the next step's gonna be mounting that one. What I'm also gonna do when these speakers go side to side. I don't remember off the top of my head without looking at the instructions currently. They got purple goes on one side and gray's for the other side. So I'm not sure which side is which. So I'm actually going to take, obviously I'm only going to use 2 on each side for right now. So it's going to be 2 more. And while I'm thinking about it, I do want to tell you this. I will have wire left over that they sent, because I'm not hooking up for it at the moment. So if you do the same thing I'm doing, there's going to be 2 purple wires left over and 2 the gray and white left over. I'd recommend obviously saving them if you're good, because that way in the future, if you want to hook them up back up again, like these are plug and play onto the amp, so a lot easier to deal with. But yeah, my next step's got to be to wire or get the other one hooked up, wire it up. I had the wires ran. There's my wires currently running. I just got to figure out how much to hook them up to that for positive and negative. It's already ran up to the fuse box, so I'm pretty much almost ready to go. This project currently, I'm at probably about a half hour into it, and a lot of that was tear down. You know, hooking everything else up is very simple. My only other thought too is if you don't have solder, that's how you, obviously the wires have to be soldered together. Or another option, I try not to recommend this option just because soldering's easier. But these right here, these little clips, these quick connects. You can use these if you want to. Just obviously double check that you have the right gauge. These are very simple. You see the bottom one down there. You just put one wire on that side and one wire on the other side, and then that little metal piece on top. You push that down with a pair of pliers, and it clamps them together. And then there's a plastic piece that goes over top of that to seal it. Very easy to use these if you don't have a solder, or if you don't know how to solder. That's a quick solution. I'm probably just going to solder them just because easier for me. And one thing to do, think about, all those wires are going to be exposed if you don't have a bag. So that's something to think about where you're going to hook that up. I mean, you can hook that up to the side of that piece there, which is the middle piece for where cup holders. Right in the back of that, you could probably hook that up to that if you want to. Just keep in mind, once you have these wires together, they're on there. So the only way to get them off is either cut them, or, I mean, if you have that quick connection, you can probably take it apart, but keep that in mind. This right here is to the bed. The only time that's going to come off is if I need to do engine work, or obviously, well, anything underneath the engine. So that shouldn't come off as often. Like I said earlier, that will. Every time you do an oil change, that has to come off. You need to change a belt, that has to come off, so you'd be loosening. You'd be dealing with wires. I mean, if you leave extra wires left over, it's probably not a big deal, but I'm going to leave it there. It's going to be covered. My seats will, like, I'm going to bring the wires up here and come across this bar and come up. You will see a little bit of wire sticking out, but I really don't care about that. But everything else will be covered. So again, I'm going to pause the video here, and then all I'm going to do now is wire everything up, get that hooked up. The next time you see this, I'll be testing the speakers out, and then we'll go from there. All right, everything's wired up. That's it working, and unfortunately, that's as loud as it goes, I believe. I couldn't get any. I don't think it goes any louder. So if you play with this, it obviously go up and down. Obviously goes down lower. That's it. I don't know when to write this music, but I mean, it's good quality sound coming out. It's not super duper loud. I think for that kind of loud, obviously would have to get a bigger amp. I'm probably gonna play around this a little more, but I'm pretty sure that's it. I mean, for 150 bucks, pretty nice. This is how that'd be right behind your head. So that'd be, as long as you don't have anything other than stock exhaust. As long as you don't have anything other than stock exhaust, that'd be plenty. Again, if you get, I'm going to get 2 more, which will add more to it. But as of right now, I think that's going to be fine. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Always, like and subscribe if you have not yet. But that's it. Hope you guys found this informative and helpful. Try to save yourself guys some money instead of spending, a couple $100, $140 and 2 nice speakers. But I may look into a bigger amp. But as of right now, that's probably going to do for now. I want to see what it does in the woods before I make my final decision on that. But, alright.